Okay, for this next video, we're just going to look at how to use the extrude tool. So the extrude tool is actually a really important tool for the type of work that we're going to be doing in Blender, because we can use it to create details like doors and windows and all the other sorts of details that you find on a building. And we can do it from starting with a simple cube like this, or a rectangle shape, which a lot of buildings are like, and we can use the extrude tool to add detail. Now, we can't really use the extrude tool until we've added some points to operate with, and the loop cut tool will do that. So in the previous video, I used the loop cut to create the space for a door in the front of this cube. Now, you can't see the loop cuts because I'm in object mode at the moment, so you need to be in edit mode in order to do that. And now you can see the two, or actually three loop cuts that I've added, and it's created this space here where I'm going to create a door. And if I added loop cuts for windows on the side here, for example, I could use the tool in exactly the same way. Now, the extrude tool works by extruding a face, so I need to make sure I'm in face mode. So I'm just going to come over here and make sure I've got face mode selected. That's 3 on the keyboard, and I'm going to click on the face that I want to work with, and then I have the extrude tool here to work with. Whoops, just clicked down by mistake. You can see there's some options here for extruding: extrude to cursor, extrude individual, extrude along normals, and I'm just going to extrude region, which is the default setting. And essentially what that means is I can just push in slightly, and that creates the impression of a door. And if I pushed in further and further and further, then the loop cut will go in the extrude will go in even further. And you can see every time I stop it, it's kind of leaving another vertex face for me to work with. So you need to just be a little bit careful with how you do it. You might overcomplicate it and make too many subdivisions or too many polygons to work with. Really important thing to keep in mind is that you can freely extrude things in any direction you want. So I'm just going to act with this piece, and you'll see it's kind of completely free form, so I can create some crazy concrete effects maybe if I was doing brutalism, but for my little doorway entrance, that's quite an outrageous thing. So I'm just going to Control Z it, undo it to put it back to its normal state. So in order to use an extrude, of course, you need to have the loop faces to allow that extrude to take place. So if I wanted to put a window in here and use the extrude tool, I'd go back to my loop cut, and I'm just going to do a couple of vertical loops and then a horizontal loop, make a space for a window. It's a pretty large window. Again, make sure I'm in face mode to do the selection. I'm not in face mode, I'm in edge mode. Go back to my extrude tool. The problem there, I was clicking on the had the loop cut tool selected. So you'll notice here that I accidentally put a loop cut in the middle, which I don't need. I could delete it, or another thing which is quite useful for working with any of the tools in Blender, that if you want to use multiple things, you can just, or select multiple things, you can just hold down Shift and select them. So in this case, I'm going to select these two. In best practice, I'd delete that one I accidentally put in the middle, but I can use the loop tool, or sorry, the extrude tool with both of them on, and again, just going to extrude it in to be the impression of a window. And yeah, it's pretty easy to work with. The only thing you need to be careful of course, I'll just do one on the other side to mirror it, is you can drag things out in crazy ways. I might just leave that out. But generally for windows and things like that, you can see as I drag on it each time, I'm creating a more complicated kind of design. But generally for windows, they're just simple things, and doors which are slightly pushed in for the types of 3D models that we're doing. Remember, we don't actually have to create an interior space to model, so we're just modeling the shell of it. So loop tool and then extrude tool, and it can allow us to create a lot of the simple detail that we'll need for our buildings.